Welcome to the next episode of Revolutionary Talk. We're on episode 4 of meditation, and this is about sensory deprivation. So, letting go of the body, letting the mind do its thing, pretty crucial part of meditation.
Okay.
Let's dive in. So, describe to people, either one of you, what this means, like what it feels like. Describe it.
I would say it's a side effect of meditation, right?
Yeah, I think I call it the sweet spot in meditation. Whenever I hit the sweet spot, I know it because my senses are gone and I'm just being. That's the perfect word for it, sensory deprivation, being.
Yeah. When I get into that sweet spot here lately, especially, I've been noticing where I kind of lose sensation of my hands, my fingers, my hands, and I'm just like, oh, where am I? With my eyes closed, and just kind of letting this, kind of move upward away from the body, feeling like you can expand out from the skin of your body. So,
Wow.
So walk me through on your process real quick, because I'm kind of picking up, I think, what you're saying there of, so you're meditating, you did your breath work, you kind of did your scan, now you're like really centered and focused. How long does it take you to kind of, like, what do you notice shift when your sensory deprivation happens? You were touching up on it, but do you notice like becoming more light and airy? Does it happen just instantly? Like, run us through. I'm curious just to even hear your own. I love talking about people's meditation with them because mine, it's so personal, but you never think to ask.
you don't. Yeah, you don't.
So
That's
So you just did your scan and everything. Now you're centered. How long does it take you to hit that sweet spot, or like what's your process to get to that sweet spot?
Well, thinking about some of the experiences, like time goes by faster than you're actually feeling like it is at some time. So, for you to ask, like, well, how long does it take? It could take me 5 minutes or 20. It could actually be 20 minutes, or it could be,
Well,
it's hard
time's
to-
time's
or the
very
opposite.
linear, linear. So
So, in my perception, I think it's just a few minutes.
Good.
And then I'm working on expanding my senses outside, like working to, if it makes sense, it's hard. Like if you can
It is.
imagine your body, if you can imagine your being, just your mind, like a puddle of water expanding out, and imagining there's no walls of your skin. You're just kind of like reaching out, and you're just touching out and then reaching back in. This is, it wasn't water it was described. It was more of like a glowing light.
Yeah.
You're a glowing light, expanding that light in and out, and just how far can you take your light out? Does it go to Mars? Does it go to Jupiter? And just working very small, but then working at bigger spaces like that.
and then what happens with your body senses? Do you feel do you feel like you get light and airy, or do you feel just stuff disappears? Do you feel more like just brain focus?
Definitely more brain focus, I would say. I'm like more aware of where I am
For sure.
in the dark.
Yeah, and you're able, because essentially what I'm dabbling at with you is trying to figure out, so whenever I meditate, I feel myself sink and ground, and then from the ground up, my body senses start disappearing, and I notice it first in my fingertips.
Yep.
Then, and especially like the hour-long meditations we did, I would have no senses up to about my shoulders, would be about an hour, and I could actually feel like this is about 30, this is about 40, 50, and then that's where the third eye just started out. As these senses, my hearing would go down, my breathing, I didn't even really focus on my breathing anymore, as it just felt like I was light and almost levitating, but the body was almost gone, and all I had left was the purple, or what I was seeing in my mind's eye, present. And then that was that sweet spot, because I felt like I was dreaming essentially. That's
Wow.
that's like my sweet spot, and that's when all my senses are gone. I notice the color shifts are happening in my mind.
Wow.
Which I just read a couple books over the weekend by Eileen McCusick, and they're on tuning forks and energy or music, sound healing. And in there, she talks about how our sense of, oh shoot, I just lost it. Our sense of hearing? Yeah. Our sense of hearing is our first sense to develop in utero.
Mm-hmm.
and it's our last sense to go before we die.
Yeah, and they would talk about that in oncology. Somebody's in a coma, somebody's not even conscious, they can still hear everything. And the science of people with NDEs and whatnot, like they're knocked out and wherever they go to, and they're still able to have these, they're able to hear.
Yeah,
Which
but
is-
then like sound or color is an extension of sound and light. Like
Okay.
all of that energy too. So I was just like,
Yeah, you're onto something with
I
that.
don't know. My mind started just going. So
That's crazy. But it makes sense too, because I'd say the less I hear, the more I see.
yeah,
And the less I feel them. I mean, it always
Which
goes
is so
back to.
true.
And it always goes back to the less, like I'm very, very colorful in my meditations and it'll be vibrant indigo. But the more vibrant that color is, the more I know my senses are shut down. And then as I'm coming back, the color's fading. It's insane.
Crazy. It's crazy you've done it so much. You notice those little details and
For sure. That's almost was more of the, what got me kind of into it was like, what is that purple? And then I started like simply to go into a meditation and figure out like, all right, when does this grow? Great. Okay, when does it disappear? Like just playing little games and endlessly just like learning something new every session. But then it was also like, stop thinking so much, turn off that sensory in order to still achieve it. It's crazy.
yeah,
it's interesting. I mean, for me, whenever I like get to this state, the most valuable thing is like I almost like look objectively like on myself and like see things that have been going on like in my life or whatever, and very objectively can see like, okay, this is a good move, this isn't, and I like can point things out with myself, and
It makes sense too.
that's how I do it.
Kind of if you're studying, you go to a quiet spot. Why? Because you can
Yeah.
focus a lot more. You don't have that outside, push to make you go one way or another. I think that makes sense too. I feel very clear, kind of when I hit that sweet spot too, and when the senses are shut down.
yeah,
Because then you're just focusing. Because essentially, medicine says it too. If you lose a sense, your others heighten.
yeah.
So if you shut down your hearing, your feeling, you're just left with pure thought,
Right.
which is the whole purpose of meditation, right? Wow. We just sent that full circle.
Amazing. Yeah, I know it's cool too. Going back to previous episodes, we surrender, find our space, breath work, body scanning, and then we get to this point. It's kind of like the big payoff.
Yeah.
I feel like from the others.
It is. And oftentimes, how society has groomed us to be, we become so disconnected from our bodies, and so it's trying to learn our bodies and become more aware of all the sensations that we go through. Because, if you're somebody who's dealing with a lot of chronic pain and that's all you know, and then all of a sudden, like you've been meditating and maybe you're setting the intention of, I just really, this would be really awesome to have this pain go away. And then all of a sudden one day it's gone. Like the power of what that can bring for a lot of people, but then, again, it's like you have to go through those obstacles or those hurdles too to help break free of whatever that issue, that pain, how that stemmed from. Like if it was an emotional thing, for instance. So
And it's cool almost relating, meditation to that exactly, of being able to turn off senses in your body that are annoying you or bringing you hardship by simply learning how to breathe through it and play with your sensory. And you can deprive yourself of senses that you no longer wish to feel anymore.
It's
Magical, right? It's magic, right?
Power of the mind.
Yeah.
yeah.
Mind over matter.
Yeah. So for those who haven't gotten to this point before, it might be hard to wrap their mind around. What would you recommend? Like, what can they do to get to this stage? Are there any tricks to maybe get past the first few steps?
A really cool, there's float tanks. Those are really cool. That's the commercial way of sensory deprivation. Something I learned from, I think, a Udemy video was,
Capitalized.
Yeah, those are expensive.
you can put your hands together and you can cover your eyes, and then you can also put your thumbs in your ears. And it's a really quick sensory deprivation. I don't like it because it's like I feel like my ears sit back so far, but it's really cool just to see how much more you can hear your thoughts by doing that. Or simply earplugs and sleep goggles or whatever the sleep mask are.
Yeah.
Just ways of simply blocking out sensory that you're so attuned to. As soon as you shut it off, it's like a whole new world opens up, which kind of teases, I think, to the deeper states of meditation you can reach. So it'll almost be like, here, try it out. Feels cool, right? Now try it without that stuff. Try to get there.
Yeah.
Because then it also tells you like what you're looking for in meditation.
Awesome. I like that one.
Yeah. Definitely practicing on different surfaces, different things that help to support your practice. I was just thinking like zero gravity chairs are kind of my thing lately in my awesome cloud bed, just being able to sit, like having that kind of space and that reduction of one more sensory thing as far as pressure underneath of you that, you know, you might feel on a harder floor. It's a nice thing. Like just having that support to keep you comfortable in that position for a while.
Yeah, that's awesome. Couple great tips there. So thanks for everybody watching this episode. Be sure to tune in next week, and thanks for watching.